Hey everybody, Kim here with Little Biz Resources, and today we're going to analyze how we define success. So the definition of success, according to Oxford Languages, is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Now, for those of us that grew up not lately, we are more familiar with Merriam-Webster's definition, and that is the degree or measure of succeeding, or a favorable or desired outcome, or the attainment of wealth, favor, or eminence. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I think of success, I think I've been trained to think of success as wealth, right? I mean, that's what a lot of us have probably explored. So thinking on that, I think that's why we sometimes feel like we don't succeed. So, and this is my opinion. I'm not a shrink or anything. I can't be like analyze, oh, this is Freudian or anything, but I think we frequently look at success as that isolated definition of wealth when it comes to online programs. Now, we may think of success differently for other areas, but when we're looking at, oh, we're building a business online and we're doing these things online, we say, oh, hey, how do we look at success? And we say, oh, did I make a ton of money off of it? Even if that wasn't a realistic outcome, right? Because we failed to manage our expectations. And, I talked about expectations before, managing expectations and mindset before, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I wanted to give an example that kind of opened up my mind to this. Like, I think I feel like I succeeded a lot of things, even though if you were to look at my accountant frequently tells me, hey, Kim, you're spending a lot of money. If you spent less, you'd make more. And I go, yeah, but if I spent less, I wouldn't learn as much. Right? Because I do a lot of experimenting and testing things. And I'm like, so for me, that is my path to ultimate success. And so I want to share an example about this email marketing. Now, you guys know I am horrible at email marketing. I send an email every now and again, and then I'll go months and not send an email. And just, in fact, 2020, because I was so upside down on my businesses, trying to figure out what was going on, Amazon holding stuff hostage and USPS not shipping stuff. I mean, it was kind of, it felt like there was no success that could be had for me for a period. I didn't do much of anything, right? So I just kind of flubbed my way through 2020. I was learning different things, testing different things, but I wasn't communicating at all. I mean, like very little. I tried when I set up the Etsy course or the Etsy, the new Etsy shop. I shared as much as I could in there, but I was so busy, building it and testing things that I still haven't gotten around to updating you guys. By the way, I'm in the top 2%. Yeah. So I think that in my email marketing example, I felt like I had failed because, theoretically, you're supposed to, and I talked about this last time too, that there's this number that floats around out there. And a lot of it is in affiliate marketing or internet marketing, online stuff where they say, oh, you should expect to make $1 per person per month on your email list. So if you have 100 people on your email list, you should be making $100 a month. Now, again, I mentioned that dollar is an average, and you should consider the fact that you need to have like 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 people, whatever on it. So no, I know all this information, right? I know all of this in my head. And yet I would go, hey, I'm not making any money from emails, which, by the way, I don't really use emails as my method for making money. I'm mostly in e-commerce. Don't know what that was if you could hear it. But so the thing is that I have maybe 100 of legitimate emails. I actually have like 3 businesses that are all together in one, and I have maybe 300 emails in it, right? So let's just say I have about 100 emails on there that are for Little Biz Resources, lead generation source. And if I were to say that, I'd say, okay, well, in 1 year, I should make $1,200 if I were doing $1 per email per month, right? And I sat down the other day, I was talking to my husband, and I sat down and I went, you know what? Here's something that I've been thinking about. And it's, one of you guys buys a course, even though I usually don't do it through email marketing, but one of you guys buys a course, and that's like, $1,500 profit or something. And so I say, the reason why I don't feel like I'm successful is because every dime I make from my affiliate marketing and everything else, I take and I invest into analyzing stuff and testing. And then sometimes I feel like I'm wasting money because I test things and nobody ever does anything with it. And so I said, my gauge of success is unrealistic, right? I need to manage my expectations. If I email out and I make a sale, that's email marketing, right? If I am not emailing and I'm making sales, why am I complaining that I'm not making money from email marketing, right? And again, I'm not very good at email marketing. I've never really looked at email marketing as a profitable thing for me. I just use it more as a way to help communicate because we have so many limitations, and I'm trying to do better at it, but it's a weakness I have. It's one of my weaknesses, right? So I just wanted to say that when we look at something and say we have an expectation that is completely unrealistic, we're going to feel like we don't succeed, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And so we're looking at success as a path that isn't even there. So the question then is, how do we find reality success? Oh, wait, Kim, and we'll talk about what we want for success in a minute, but Kim, you said that wealth is included in that. I did, but the reality success is more like, having an outcome and achieving that outcome, right? So again, this is tying into what I talked about last time about mindset and managing expectations, because we need to have a good mindset. And so we need to think that we can achieve it, but we also need to manage our expectations. And, I said that. So yes, I felt like, oh, hey, I can do this. And then I'm like, wait a second, but my expectations are, I want it to be profitable, but I'm adding a bunch of expenses that have nothing to do with anything and going, well, I'm not profitable. And I'm like, wait, that's not real. I am profitable. If I took out all these other things where I'm testing and doing stuff, then I am profitable. So once I start, you start saying, oh, hey, I need to manage that expectation and look at the reality side of it, then it's better. And once we center our mindset into a focus on moving towards managed expectations. So again, this outcome, have I achieved this actual realistic outcome? We can then say, oh, look, yes, this was successful. And, to give another example, a few years ago, actually quite a few years ago now, my sister and I were doing drop shipping from China, which I don't recommend right now, but drop shipping is a great model, but from China is probably not the best right now. We were doing Facebook ads, and this was back when it was actually cheaper to do Facebook ads. But we were losing money, and we're like, look, we're not making any money on this. Why? So it's not successful. And so at the time, we didn't really understand we looked at it as if you sell something, you promote an ad, you sell something, you should make money, right? And that's how we were looking at it. And that has changed a lot. And so we kind of had to do a better job about analyzing an adequate outcome. So even though it was a negative dollar amount, was it still in the acceptable range? Did we have our funnel set up, etc.? And so if we can do a better job at managing our expectations, we can focus on, oh, hey, is this actually working or not? Right? So instead of saying, oh, I expect wealth and this is a negative number, it didn't work. That's kind of what we jumped to. And that's not accurate, because we should look at it and say, this is what our outcome is. Did it work? And we'll talk more about that as we go through, because there are things like, we'll talk about, figuring out, is a click-through rate good? Or even if how to figure out if the click rate is good, right? So we're like, wait a second, these numbers are out there, but they're not necessarily for us. And I talked about that a little bit last time too. And again, these are all things that we're going to dive into more as we get through into the 12-week course. So then you go, but Kim, I want wealth as success. I mean, who really doesn't, right? I don't want the reality success. Okay, but we have to start with reality, right? We have to start somewhere, because that's how we collect data. We say, okay, here's our realistic outcome, and we've reached that realistic outcome, and that is a positive number now. Let's scale, right? So let's say, for example, we set up our monetization method for our business and we start marketing. So we'll take EP Laser, right? So EP Laser, we sell the ornaments, we put it on Shopify, and we start marketing it. Then we are going to analyze our marketing methods to see what is working well. And sorry, a part of me wants to go, by the way, I put it on EP Laser. I do not market to my Shopify store, right? So I get this. I hear people a lot. They think, oh, I built a website. I'm not getting any sales. I'm like, well, how are you marketing it? What do you mean? I built the website. People should know about it. Well, they can't know about it. They have to be told about it. Because the day of just putting stuff on the internet and being found is gone, right? You have to get in front of people. So you have to market. You run ads, you have to do, social media marketing, whatever it is that you decide to do. And a lot of people, they think that they didn't succeed. They built the website and they're not getting sales, but they forget that there's like 5 other parts to it, right? So there's so much of this that I look at this and I'm like, there's so many things I've heard over the years where people have these expectations that are completely unrealistic. So anyway, we're going to set up our monetization method. We're going to start marketing. And then after a period of time, after we have enough data, we can analyze our marketing methods to see what is working well. Then we might have 5 different marketing methods we're running and say, okay, look, we're going to focus on these 3 because these 3 are doing a good job. They're meeting the outcomes we wanted, right? Or I'll give you another example. It may not even be marketing. I have, I'm running traffic to an opt-in page. I decided to set up 5. I think there's 5 different opt-in pages. They're all for the exact same thing. They just look different. Might have a couple different words here or there. And there's different background pictures, right? And out of the 5, I was like, oh my gosh, number 5 is going to be the most amazing, right? And in fact, I was going to just run it to number 5. So then I went back in and I was like, after I ran the test to all 5 of them, and I said, oh my gosh, number 3 is winning. Right now, I haven't run enough data to fully make a conclusion, but I mean, it's winning by a long shot. So I'm like, okay, wait a second here. Why on earth isn't 5? That's what I would do because I am not my market, right? I am experienced. I'm at a different level than most people. So if I'm not targeting me, I'm targeting other people that are trying to grow to my point. So they're going to look at things completely different. I mean, they're going to be in different countries, in different states, in different parts of their lives, different ages. And so I need to obviously be more open to the fact that I don't know everything. I do know a lot though, right? So you would think that number 5 would work, but maybe it will. Maybe if I target a different audience, it would. But that's the type of data that we need to be open to seeing, right? And so I can now focus my efforts onto, 1 or 2 opt-in pages instead of 5 opt-in pages, right? So that's the idea behind scaling, is that you start analyzing what is meeting the realistic outcomes. And then as you start going, oh, look, channel A with this product is profitable. Let me push more resources to that. That's how we scale, right? And that's also how we find the success we want. We don't do it just based on willy-nilly stuff, right? It's because our mindset and our expectations directly affect our view of success. So if we start looking at things and saying, if we have an unrealistic expectation and say, oh, well, that didn't work out, that's going to affect our mindset. So now we're going to start thinking a completely different way. I mean, really, I feel like sometimes as emotional creatures, which trust me, I am emotional, that we tend to just go, oh, well, I don't like that. I'm not going to do it. Or I want to do this or something, right? So we have to have our mindset in place so we know that we can succeed. It kind of permits us to succeed. Yes, it's okay for me to find success, realistic and ridiculous success, right? But we also have to have realistic expectations, especially if we want to initiate that first part of success. I mean, there's so many things that I think of. I hear people say, I see it in groups, and they're very unrealistic expectations. And I'm like, you know what? If you had managed expectations and you started realizing that you're on the right path, you would do better on pushing through that part that's hard for you. Now, if you have a problem in either one of these, it's going to open up a gap where we question something. Maybe we question ourselves, we question the program, whatever it is, we're going to question things, and that's going to further weaken our opportunity, right? So how do we check our mindset and our expectations? Well, we're going to use SWOT, like we talked about last time. And SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And if you missed that, watch or listen to the one before this. where we talked about mindset versus managing expectations, I believe is what it's called. So that will describe that more. Now, if you have a current monetization method, and if you don't, we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you have a current monetization method, a lot of you do. Look, I've talked to a lot of people in Little Biz Resources / what it was before Lead Generation Source. And a lot of you have monetization methods that you can use or that you want to use, right? So if you have an e-commerce store already, you have affiliate marketing in place, you're doing email marketing, you're monetizing ads, you have your own program, whatever it is, you're offering services, something, go ahead and run a SWOT analysis. So look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats. And with a true look, like look at it hard and say, look, this is what I do know, what I don't know. Like that's going to be one of your weaknesses, right? You don't know something about it. So that, like let's say you're doing affiliate marketing. You're like, well, I don't know where to get decent affiliate programs. That would be a weakness of affiliate marketing, which by the way, we'll talk about. So specifically identify any potential areas that hold you back and why. Now, I put in here, i.e. cold email marketing. And this is one that I struggle with myself, right? So if you offer services or you're a local business or something like that, depending on, of course, what you do, let's talk about the financial industry, right? The financial industry works primarily off of referral, right? Okay, so-and-so, oh yeah, my uncle's looking for somebody to manage their money. Hey, I know this guy, go here, right? So that's network marketing. And unfortunately, that has always been the best type of marketing and always been the hardest to achieve, no matter how good you are. So most industries that offer services especially, they have to do an element of cold email marketing. It's one of the most annoying marketing methods out there, but there's just so many limitations to services, a lot of services, and the expense is just so high sometimes in marketing. Financial industry is a perfect example, right? Go in and look at the cost of running ads for the financial industry. It's in the, almost $100, sometimes more per click. So if you have a 3% conversion rate on your clicks, you have to run, 100 clicks to get maybe 1 to 3 people just to be able to convert to the next level. And that may not be profitable. So, and we'll talk more about how to figure that out and everything else another time. But I just wanted to tell you that cold email marketing is one that a lot of businesses struggle with. They don't want to do it. They think, oh, I'm too good for that, right? I feel that way myself, but I'm like, I'm trying really hard to try it because I did this once before. I did it wrong and I still made money, right? I mean, come on. If you can make money when you do everything wrong by basically just tripping into success at that point, I thought about it and I went, oh man, I need to do it right. So I've been still kind of like not dedicated to it because I have this mindset. That cold email marketing is for scammers. It's not. Legitimate businesses do this all the time. Now they do it right, and there's a very low conversion rate, but cold email marketing is something that some industries have to do because the costs associated with acquiring customers are just too high. Right. And so if you're one in an industry like that, where you're like, hey, it's really, really high conversion rate, something, you may have to look at cold email marketing. And look, guys, cold email marketing we'll talk about that because that is something that some industries need to do. And if your industry might have to do that, you're going to want to know because that is something that is not that hard anymore. And you just have to accept the fact that some people are going to think that you are a jerk for contacting them without their permission. And that's the thing is there's nothing illegal about it. And if they're a business that you're reaching out to, that happens to them all the time, right? So that is just part of doing business. You are, as a business owner, as you get your website built, people are going to be cold emailing and marketing you all the time. There's an Eric guy that's out there. He has hit every single one of my websites multiple times, and I want to strangle him. But I'm pretty sure that he's not real. So I just take solace in the fact that I can delete, right? Cold email marketing is real, but think about that. Like, I can't get to that level. I already know. I have facts on my side. I did it wrong the first time. Had no training in it whatsoever, just blindly started marketing to people, and I found success. I made money doing it. But because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, I had that mindset was wrong, I'm still stuck on the fact that I don't think I can do it right. And even though I know how to do it right now, right? I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And there's an element of testing to it. So that mindset truly is something that, I know I'm held back simply because I need to do it. That's my holdback. What's holding me back? I just need to do it. I need to do it and get over whatever fears or issues that I have, right? So I wanted to give you guys an example. Everybody does this with everything. I do it with a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh man, I don't want Facebook ads. The last time I ran Facebook ads, it was a total fail. I'm like, I know how to do Facebook ads, and it only failed because and I know why, because I had a mismatch in my market to my ad. And I'm like, I know how to fix it. I know what I did wrong. Why don't I not want to do it? I just don't like Facebook ads. So I have to overcome that or ignore it, one of the two, and just move on and start testing Facebook ads again, right? So those are things that you have to do, is if you have something that's holding you back, and if you can't think of a way to overcome it, that's okay. We'll talk about ways to do that. So for those of you who don't have a monetization method, or even if you do and you have questions about it, make sure you sign up for the 12-week course. It'll be through our members area. So there is a link somewhere in this. But I announced that Little Biz Resources will be doing a 12-week course. If you missed that, there will be if you're on the video version, there'll be a link to the YouTube link at least. And then you can watch more about that. And it starts in February. I don't have the exact date yet, but I'm fine-tuning it. But get signed up today. It's going to be free for this round because we are creating the course. And I will notify you when it starts. You'll get access to the members area, et cetera, et cetera. The link, of course, is in the description of whatever channel you're watching this. And then we'll have a link back to that other video as well. By next week, let's see. So what day would that be? Sorry, I'm looking at a calendar real quick. Of course, I don't know where my calendar is on here. And so next week's the 11th is Monday. So probably by Monday or Tuesday, I'll start to have monetization methods up. I already have a lot of it worked on. I just want to, get more of it finalized. So you guys can work through it as fast as you want. So that'll be by next week. We're going to start to have not all of them, but we'll start to have some of them. Some of them will just be like, hey, check out this webinar because somebody else has already covered it. And that way it'll get you started faster. So just go ahead and click on the link, make sure you get signed up, and we'll start doing monetization methods. And then next time, we're going to start talking about the importance of monetization, because that is an element that is very important and plays a role in, a lot of things that we have to decide later on. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching/listening, and I will hopefully see you in the Facebook group, which link is also around here somewhere. Either the Facebook